Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I was reading through some articles, sort of just like watching what's going on in the world and the state that is happening, right? The state that the world is in right now. And at this point, you can pretty much see that there's nothing else, right, that's left for this place in terms of forecast. There's nothing else that's left for this place outside of just destruction, right? And when I say that, I mean the life and everything else is gone, right? There's no more, building. There's no putting this place back together, as the scriptures say in is that Jeremiah? Is it 51 or so? We would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. When you look at the state of the way even these buildings are set up, the communities, the people, the infrastructure, everything, right? It's all rotting, right? As Apostle Gabar always says, this place is circling the drain, and that's what we see happening. Okay, this place is circling the drain, meaning that it doesn't have much left. When you look at water, right? Say you have water in a sink or a bathtub, and you stop pouring, you close the faucet, you see that the remaining water that's in whether it's the sink or the tub, eventually it starts to diminish, right? It gets less and less and less until it's all completely down the drain and there's nothing left. And that's what this place is, right? It's circling that drain and there's nothing left. All right. But they put on this facade, and even these elites, the elites of this world, they're okay with that. All right. They're okay with that because in their mind, they're going to build it back better. In their mind, they need to do away with this old world so that they can have their new world order. But they don't realize that this old world is all you got. That's all you were allotted. When you go back in time to the Canaanites, the Lord said, right, that they were dwelling in the land for a period of time, but once their time was up, once their measure was filled, he drove them out of the land. You see, and the Lord has set bounds that the wicked, which in this case is Esau, Edom, cannot pass. So they're doing all this preparation, and in their mind, they've been deceived into thinking that as long as they can stop the one who's up next, because they know that Yahushua is going to return at the turning of this age. They know Yahushua is going to return to come in and claim his kingdom. But if they can defeat him, then who's going to be, it's kind of like when you go back in history and you see time and time again, as one empire is falling, you have others that are competing to be the next major one to rise. And if you can be that that major empire that rises, then you got it, right? You get the rulership. What they don't understand though is that this dominion is not of this world. This is a heavenly dominion. And you quite literally have to be deceived to think that to even want to go up and fight against the Lord. But that's why it's written in 2 Ezra 13 that though they were afraid and yet durst fight. So from their elites, which are deceived, the ones sending down the orders, to the actual ones that are going to be piloting the planes and the being in the command centers, all of them are deceived. They won't have an option because this is how the Lord set up the story. This is how he wants it to play out. Revelation, the 4th chapter, I believe the last verse, it mentions that all things were created for the Lord, for his pleasure. Okay? For his pleasure. So the way the story is written is for the pleasure of the Lord. And what we're seeing right now isn't something new. If you read how kingdoms and empires rise and how they've fallen, it's all the same way. They all start circling the drain at some point, because it tells you in the book of Daniel that the Lord is the one who sets one up and brings down another. And right now we're witnessing him bring down this empire. We're witnessing him bring down this kingdom, as he said he would. And in fact, he even gave us explicit signs that we would see at the bringing down of this kingdom, and we're seeing all of those signs. So there is no doubt about what's going on in the world today, but not everybody has the eyes to see. And once again, that's not something that's unique to this kingdom, because even in times past, many people have gotten caught up in that. And there are a lot of people. It's crazy because at the point where destruction is closest, you have a lot. Folly is the highest. There's like a relationship, between those two, folly and destruction. You see, folly and destruction, they go hand in hand. When you look, whenever folly was highest, destruction came very short. It stuck shortly right after. And there was a lot of mass destruction because a lot of people got judged. I mean, the Lord is long suffering, but eventually that comes to an end. Okay, that's the thing about time. It's always moving, right? It's not going in reverse. It's going forward. So eventually that long suffering comes to an end. And at that point, then what? Then you have the crying and the begging and I don't know what to do. And you'll be surprised when you see some of these people in that time. They'll look like completely different people. You're like, wait, aren't you the same demon who had the nerve to get up on social media and do all kinds of videos speaking all manner of evil against the very same thing or the very same people you are now begging to help you? And you think like, damn, you must really have some nerve to think that after all that shit that you did and said, you gonna come and ask for help, and then we just going, oh yeah, no, let's go ahead and help him. The Lord doesn't work that way, and that's what the world is about to find out. When you realize that the God you're dealing with is real, you're gonna find that out the hard way, and then others are gonna find out through you being made a public example. This is why the scriptures highlight the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord, the King of terrors. Because he created terror. He created terror to get a reputation as a king, okay, of terrors. To get a reputation, like you had, what's his name? Was it Ivan the Terrible? Right? You when you hear somebody with a title or a suffix like that, okay, you got to watch out for someone like don't make sure you don't end up in the grasp of somebody that's named the Terrible at the end, because clearly they must have done not just one thing, but a good deed of things to earn a reputation like that to be called the Terrible. Now that's one thing. You have a title called the King of Terrors. The King of Terrors. That's not that you're just terrible or you can be, cruel or, I mean, you're the King of Terrors. You gotta, sometimes when you read these scriptures and you hear these titles, you hear these names, you gotta let it sink in and understand, like, what is the process that one goes about to even earn a title like that, But in any case, going back to the topic, and I'm driving, so that's why I'm sort of just quoting these precepts, but nonetheless, Lord willing is edifying, all right, nonetheless. But when you look at the world today, America, right, Babylon, which used to be this glory of kingdoms, what we're seeing is really, what's that, Isaiah, I believe it's 47, 48, playing out, right, where this Babylon, which used to be a glory of kingdoms, right, the Chaldees' excellency is brought down. It's coming down. And they're trying everything they can, but you're seeing that it's not working. The awe and the revere that the world had for this place is gone. And this used to be the center. This used to be like the Nineveh of our time, the Egypt of our time, the Assyria at one point of our time. And that's why it's also part of the reason why it's referred to prophetically as such in the scriptures. But all that is crumbling. And there's quite literally nothing left. Even the things that people do now that they used to do before, it's not the same. You don't get paid the same. The quality is not the same. Everything is just different. It's they label it as though it's the same, right? They make it seem like, you're still doing the same thing, but you're not. The world is changing very quickly. And the problem is people are afraid of change. They don't want change. So they try to just like act like everything is all good and just, just go along with it. No, the world is changing. At one point in time, phones used to have buttons on them. You remember that? Yeah, at one point in time, phones used to have buttons on them. That's how old, or not even how old you are, but that's how fast the world is changing. Because I'm not even that old, but I remember that. I remember when the screen of a phone was not the entire phone. You had a small portion above the phone where you would, the flip phones, open it, and then you got the buttons on and then and at one point, what was it, the BlackBerry, Blueberry, whatever it was called, that used to be the high tech. That used to be the iPhone 17 Pro Max. That somebody pull out a pocket PC, or they pull out oh shit, and they got the little ball in the center. Oh wow, you know. And now, like, look at the world. Like, now you got freaking. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You got. I don't even know where to start. But the world is changing. How you do things has changed. Once upon a time, ChatGPT was something that you would hear every so often. Oh, ChatGPT. Oh yeah, what is that again? That's what you would hear. Oh, what was that again? So what do you do with it? Now, it's not just like you got people who didn't even know what ChatGPT was just a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. When the pandemic hit, people weren't using it like that. It was like, yo, why does everybody keep talking about this thing? Like, what is this ChatGPT thing? AI. That's what it was just a couple years ago. And now these same people are rattling off different types of AI software. You got the ChatGPT, you got Claude, you got Google Gemini, you got, what I'm saying? All these, I'm like, damn. That's how fast the world has changed. And just as once upon a time, we were talking about how they were going to integrate AI into everything. Now you're in a world where AI is integrated into everything. Damn near everything has some AI interface. It's crazy. It's like, yo, it didn't even take years. You got movies that now you can actually see, like, you can watch an official movie or a commercial and it's created with AI. Video, because now AI has the video and audio. And it looks pretty good. And people got to stop looking at it. You can't look at it from what it looks like today only. You gotta look at the comparison, right? You gotta stop and think, okay, it looks like this now, where people are actually getting into heated debates about whether a video is AI generated or not, because now that's how real it looks. But remember that not too long ago, you could easily tell when a video was AI generated or not. The audio would sound off. You'd see like very obvious glitches, very obvious, like 6 fingers, or the eyes would look a certain kind of way. You're like, oh yeah, AI is not good at doing that, so you can spot that. Guess what? The real problem doesn't lie in what it was doing then. The real problem lies in how quickly it can adapt, right? How quickly they can fix that. Because what do you think these data scientists and machine learning engineers are doing? And now this is how they build on top of technology, using technology. They get the software to a point that it's pretty good, and then the machine learning engineers that built it and the data scientists that trained it are now replaced with the artificial intelligence itself. So now it is iterating upon itself, so to speak. You've built a smart enough AI that can, build upon itself, basically. That is that is the world that we live in today. And that's the thing about it. It's not going to stay that way, because then tomorrow is going to be more and more advanced. So yes, the world is very rapidly changing right before our eyes, and what that means is the way you interact with the world is changing, and it along with the new advancements, people are not getting more free, people are not getting more and more liberty. No, you're losing more and more of that, and before you know it, you're going to be in a prison planet. Go and watch those Black Mirror episodes, and they'll show you exactly what it is they got in store for you. And very soon, the entire world is going to be begging for the return of Yahushua. Okay, they're going to be begging for the Messiah to come back and fix everything. But guess what? He's going to come back. But a part of the fixing is going to be your elimination. So are you ready for that? But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because like we observed this even going back, years ago, where you would see around the time of the holiday festivities, things would be very vibrant and like people would be, oh yeah, it's Christmas, oh there's a Halloween or Thanksgiving. All that is dead. All right, this place is dead. It's lifeless. There's nothing. It's just all you see on the horizon is just chaos and trouble, and people trying to learn how to cope with that. That is the world today. That is the reality, and it's only going to get worse. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. Hey, stay in the spirit. Stay in the right spirit. All right, pray, and hey, hope that the Lord has mercy because it's about to get real crazy out here. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. And until next time, Shalom.